can you give us, because you touched on it there about the rental market in JVC, so can you give us insight into the rental market in Dubai? So are there any notable changes or trends with rental prices and demand at the moment? You mentioned obviously JVC, but in general, because at the UK at the moment, what's the rental market like, Matt?
I mean, yeah, well, I mean, across the UK, didn't we?
Yeah.
We kind of spoke about it the other day. I think it was a 10% increase.
Yes, double digits.
Over the whole of the UK, which we were really
As an average,
impressed with. Yeah, so it'd be interesting
When
to
you
hear.
consider Southeast,
Oh,
that is very good.
It is, absolutely. And I guess there was some, even when we looked into it, I know we spoke about it on the podcast before, but some areas surprised us. Definitely, didn't it? And we weren't really
we're seeing growth, aren't we?
Exactly.
Like constantly. And again, that's because of the current market in the UK. The rental market is booming at the moment. So what would you say in terms of the rental market in Dubai? What trends and sort of changes in demand are you noticing with prices?
Yeah, I mean, it's still very aggressive growth. That's the short way to say it. New products handed over from developers will always see exceptional demand. They have tenants lined up months before. So overall, the rental values are doing exceptionally well. What I would say is one thing that overseas investors need to think about is if you do have a tenant in situ for 12 months and an official tenant, then there are restrictions on how much you can actually increase the rent by. So you do have to use an online calculator and actually work that out in terms of staying in line with the law. And again, tenants are very, very savvy in Dubai. So a lot of them know this. So that's one thing that a lot of people do have to think about. But you will see on average better net yields, or what they call here ROI, than you would into the UK compared to the UK in most cases, right? It does vary. But on average, if you look across the board, you're going to see strong rental rises and strong general net returns. The other thing I'd mention as well, and obviously one thing that we push both in the UK and Dubai is doing the short let model. So when you look at regions like, JVC, where they can hop in a taxi, 15 minutes, they're in JBR Beach, which is the most prominent beach in Dubai. And if you can drive, an 8, 9, 10% net return, fully managed on your behalf, you're sat in the UK, that's earning good income for you, and you're getting that aggressive capital growth, and you've got a payment plan. You start to see how it can,
and you've got a holiday home.
And you've got a holiday home. You've got the flexibility to pop over and, sit in the hot heat like Matt's experienced lately. So
get a management company in as well. I guess that you can obviously arrange all of that as well, because we know a lot of we get a lot of investors in the UK when we have short-term lets. It's like they expect themselves to have to do it, and it's like that's going to be very time consuming if you're having to update Airbnb or Booking.com or whichever platforms you're using. So in terms of that, Nick, is there, I guess there's quite a big variety of companies, I'm guessing, over here that you can use. Yeah,
I mean, we do have our favourites, obviously. So we've got a handful that we pick and choose from. But there's going to be no shortage of agents willing to take your money to look after it for you. But it is a good point, because one of the concerns people have is, how can I buy a property overseas if I'm in the UK? So to be very clear, you would have an agent working with you from start to finish for the full legal purchase process. You'd obviously have developer support as well from their in-house team. You can have the agent advise you on visas. You can then have a mortgage broker, an independent mortgage broker, give you quality advice like you would in the UK. Then you can have a furniture pack delivered, installed, and get all up and running. And then obviously you can have the management company look after it, manage it for you. So from A to Z, it's set up and you don't have to leave your sofa. So really worthwhile looking at.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good. And I was going to say, I had someone ask a question the other day, Nick. It'd be good to hear your insight. I think a lot of people, when they buy, feel like they have to come out here. Do they have to do that? Obviously, it would be good to hear from your side. A lot of people that buy overseas are like, do I need to come and visit to do anything before it goes live or it's ready and completed to rent out? Do they have to do that, or
it's not compulsory? There's a number of ways to go about it. You can get what's called a POA, which is basically nominating another individual to act on your behalf legally, and then they can take handover for it. But there's no requirement to come out here. Some people, they might come over, visit, have a quick look, meet a developer, shake our hands, etc. But other than that, no, there's no physical requirements.